Well, welcome back here to Newport Beach. Round 11 of the Summer of Surf continues. Next up, our Open Ironman final. And we take a look at this field. And, well, exciting as well, Josh, those Surf Ironman qualifying series. Some boys have cemented their spot today, and there's still spots up for grabs.
Huge news from the semi-finals here, Kurt. Because Luke Cuff and Max Brooks have missed this final, two guys have cemented their place in the Kellogg's Ironman series in Dane Farrell and Jacko Maynard. But there's one spot still up for grabs. Tannen Linden can get it. Max Brooks can still get it, dependent on results. So by the end of this race, we'll really be counting numbers, that's for sure.
Yeah, we can get the calculator out and know that Tannen Linden must finish 5th or better to qualify for the Newsgrain Series next year. If he doesn't finish 5th or better, a very nervous Max Brooks is sitting on the beach hoping he finishes worse than 5th. So he'll go through his first ever Newsgrain Series.
How tough would that be for him, sitting back, not being able to play a part in the result here, and just praying that he doesn't end up in that top 5. So we'll just have to sit back and watch, but these guys will be going all out. Like this man, Hayden White, he's no problem. He's already in, and this is his best leg. So he'll try and get out in front, really make the most of this and shake things up. But looks like Jack Moyes there, the guy from Terrigal. We haven't seen much of him from Summer of Surf, so he'll be fighting it out for a start in next round's final to try and get a result. He needs a good result here for a completely different reason.
Oh, they all need a good result, but they all need a great hit out. This is an Australian title-like final field here. Look at this. Jack Moyes in front, and then we go on the red ski, Kendrick Louie, and right next to him, the all too familiar colours, the lime green and orange of the national champion, Shannon Eckstein.
Oh, that's one name. We've been so worried about the guys trying to qualify. Well, he's the man that they're going to get to take on when they get to that series. So possibly the greatest Ironman of all time, and he's just sitting pretty in there in 3rd place on the inside. That's one thing that Shannon's done so well for so long. He's positioning around the cans, he's positioning around in the break, and that's something today with that bank, as we've spoken about earlier, is going to make all the difference as the boys crash and bash around that outside. Shannon, no troubles on the inside there, sneaks into the lead, and is looking very strong.
Yeah, perfect positioning from Eckstein. As you would imagine, the 6-time national and current Australian champion is looking sharp. But once again, these smooth conditions out the back are going to make way for some decision-making as they get back to shore, especially going back out in that swim leg and board leg as we saw in the women. And Josh, again, just explaining the difference between the bank and the rip. And the bank, we're not talking about where the money, you draw the money out of, but it is money sometimes, but we're talking about the sandbanks, where it's shallow, and that's what the surf can do. It's constantly changing. The waves come in, formations of rips and banks, it makes a big factor.
It's something you learn very early on in Nip, is that the waves, they bring sand in, they build it up. It's the build-up of sand, the really shallow parts you see. Sometimes, it's funny, sometimes you go to the beach, you can walk out for hundreds of metres in knee depth, and other times it drops straight away. So the bank's that shallow area in close, and as we see the 3 leaders here, Kendrick Louie on the red ski, Shannon Eckstein in the middle, and Jack Moyes there. They're having a bit of a laugh pointing around. These boys, as it just gets shallow there, that's the bank we're talking about. That's vision there, but it'll fill out. Boys, but the tough part's been the guys behind them, the ones that have done the work.
Look at
there's 12 on a wave here, 13 on a wave here behind them. So all that hard work for the likes of Hayden White and Matt Poole's really come undone on this little shorey.
So big money up for grabs today as well. A bit of prize money on the line, and the hometown lad, Kendrick Louie, in front from Newport at the moment. Jack Moyes of Terrigal in 2nd. Shannon Eckstein in 3. Now, where's Tannen Linden? That's the question. We go back to here. Jay Finesse in 4th spot. We'll keep going through them. Matt Bevilacqua 5. Matt Poole 6. Isaac Costello's in there. Oh, where is he? He's way back. Look at that Tannen Linden. He's outside the top 10. Maybe 11th, but he's still in line with that pack. And here we go. Bank to the right-hand side. These boys are taking risks.
Yeah, he's got to take a risk here. Everyone else has run down to that rip, but he's decided he's going to go the bank. He's got big, strong legs, and he's good at waiting. So look at him go there. He's going to use that to his advantage. Get those knees up high. Make sure he gets out. And this is the great shot. The guys closest to us, they're in the rip there. It's nice deep water. But the guys to the top of your screen, they're on the bank. So they've made up so much ground, Kurt, in just that little part, running that extra distance. It looks like the bank's paid off this time round.
Well, don't count your chickens before they're hatched, because the thing with the bank is it suits you well early, but it's going to hurt you late.
Yeah,
and now have
a
look. Now the rip's kicked again, and these boys closest to screen, they're flying, and there's no water moving out at the top of the screen. So I still think the rip at the moment is the place to be, and Kendrick Louie and Shannon Eckstein and Jack Moyes boys are capitalising, and Tannen Linden, this could be the difference between him making the series and missing the series. It's a huge risk. If it doesn't pay off, he may not be in the Nutri-Grain next year.
Yeah, it's all or nothing here for him, but the interesting part is look how far those guys to the right of the screen have gone. That looks like, that's Matt Poole there from Mooloolaba, so he's gone the complete other side of the bank, used it to his advantage, and it looks like it's going to pay off for him here. Those guys have come on the other side, and he's going to get there almost in the same time. So he's made up 10, 15, 20 metres there, and it's a huge swim from Matt Poole.
He's going to come into third.
What a huge effort there. That was unbelievable.
Well, you know what Matt Poole's done? He's hedged his bets. He said, I like a bit of the bank, and then I'm going to go into the rip. And so that was a beautifully executed move. He used the best part of the start of the bank, the shallow part, and then he hooked into the rip for the second kicker. That was beautifully executed by Matt Poole. You won't see any better all day. So as they come across the back, Kendrick Louis in 1, Shannon Eckstein in 2, Matt Poole in 3, hanging on there really hard. Nathan Smith trying to make a big move, it looks like, from Manly there. He loves a swim leg as well. Jack Moyes trying to hang on. It looks like a really great swim leg from Jonah Beard as well.
Matty Bevilacqua was in there from Mooloolaba, Jack O'Maynard, but no Tannen Linden just yet. He was on the back of that pack, so tough times for him. But this race just highlights how hard it is to be a professional Ironman and race in these surf conditions. Not only is it ever changing, it's constantly different. There's 2 or 3 options. It's not like you're in a pool or you're on a lake or anything like that where you just go great guns. You can, one leg it might work, the next leg it won't. There might be waves. It's just so difficult for these guys. That's why they're the best in the sport. They know when it works, they know when it doesn't. They take their chances, they take their risks, and sometimes it pays off for them.
Yeah, spot on, and here we go, the boys to the wave zone, and our leaders, it is Shannon Eckstein and Kendrick Louis.
They're doing everything right here, Kurt. They've got a wave on the ski, now a wave in the swim. These two, it looks like their day today. They'll step up on that bank. They'll come to this deep section, so they'll run
to the
along
left
on the bank there, run along, one big dive through, or they'll get those knees up and try and get through that. Kendrick Louis dives through that. We see how difficult it is.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to stay to the left-hand side of the screen when you come in to stay on that bank. Otherwise, you'll be in all sorts of trouble on the right-hand side in that second rip here at Newport. But they come around for the final time and into transition. Shannon Eckstein in 1, Kendrick Louis in 2, Matt Poole. That was a huge mammoth swim there. Beautifully executed in 3. Matt Bevilacqua right there in 4th spot as well. And now all eyes. Where is Tannen Linden? These guys, they're already in the series. Linden trying to get in there. It was Jay Finesse of Manly, sorry, not Nathan Smith. So
huge race from Jay so
for
far.
him in 5.
He's really stepping it up to these other guys.
Yeah,
Jack Moyes
right there.
Jack O'Maynard there. We go back, Dane Farrell, and still no sign of, there's that Tannen Linden there.
I think he's in 10th
Tannen
spot.
Linden. So he's got 5 places to make up in one board. Like, it's going to be a huge ask.
So here we go, Shannon Eckstein's gone the rip, and Kendrick Louis a bit of the bank here. So we saw Jordan Mercer at favoured being closest to screen, and Shannon Eckstein's seen that, and he's decided to go for it. Be interesting to see if Kendrick Louis comes across. And look at this, Eckstein just winding up. Now Matt Poole trying to get involved alongside his Mooloolaba clubmate Matt Bevilacqua, but my goodness, he is going to have the paddle of his life, Tannen Linden, to get back 5 places in a field of this quality.
Oh, it's going to be huge. He's riding his luck at this point, but he's a great board paddler. It's probably his strongest legs, so if he needs any leg to need those 5 places, it's going to be the board. As we're on with Matty Poole here, he's just resting those legs. He's on the back of Matt Bevilacqua here. He knows it may come down to a sprint finish like we saw in the women's, so he's just making sure he rests up, waits till they're coming back home, and then really works for those flags.
Yeah, it was a really good little section there from Kendrick Louis to go back and hit the front. He didn't give it up to Shannon Eckstein. Look at this, he's got the inside run.
That's the key.
So, Kendrick Louis in 1, Shannon Eckstein 2. Now they turn here. Matt Bevilacqua having a great race in 3, and now back to Matt Poole in 4.
One of the great things that Kendrick Louis done here is snuck on the inside of Shannon. Shannon's so great at making sure he's in the right spot, sneaks around on the inside, makes up 2, 3, 4 board lengths around those cans. So Kendrick Louis learnt something here from Shannon. He's played his own game, and he's beaten him at it here because he's out in front. He's seen those flags, and he's going for home.
Oh, the boys have gone up another notch here. They want the victory. Kendrick wants it on his home beach, and he wants to take down the national champ. You don't get too many shots at Shannon Eckstein in a season, especially outside the Nutri-Grain. So anytime you can get a win over him, it's a special day.
And you don't get too many shots at him in the final leg of an Ironman race. If you're in front of him with 1 leg to go, you take that chance and you go for broke. And he's really doing it there. We see him, he'll just up the rating here as the boys out the back. There's a few runners coming through, so they're not out of it yet. But the boys will up the rating here. Shannon looks like he's down at Kenj. Oh, too easy. Pushed down. It's another race in 2.
Yeah, race to the finish. Kendrick Louis on the red board to the left. left-hand side. Shannon Eckstein to the right. The little bank there to negotiate. Oh, Shannon stumbled in the gutter, and you can see that deeper water. Kendrick's gone straight for the bank and across. One duck dive, he's up, and that's going to be it. Surely it is. Well executed. Kendrick Louis, the local knowledge here on the home beach of Newport, is going to deliver a victory in round 11 of the Summer of Surf, and a nice little finish off here. Oh, big fist pump to his club mates. He takes the win ahead of Shannon Eckstein in second spot. The battle for third looks like Matt Poole just over Matt Bevilacqua.
That's
now,
four.
Now,
where's
the battle.
Tannen
Linden. He was a long way back. Is he going to be in there? I see Jack Moyes is going to have a big go as well. Here they go. Jack Moyes, Tannen Linden. Linden must win this race to make the series. He turns. He's a great runner. He puts it down. Oh, it's huge. Linden, he's lifted. It's massive. Tannen Linden's
Where did he come from?
How did he do it? He deserves to be in there with a performance like that. Jack Moyes in 6. Oh, fast finishing Dane Farrell. Look at that, hugs all round. It meant so much to him to make it there. It was a race within a race. He's pumped up. He needed it, and he delivered. Incredible finish there for Tannen Linden. We'll get to him in a minute, but Kendrick Louis takes out this round of the Ironman with a really nice come-from-behind win over the current national champ in Shannon Eckstein of the Northcliffe Club. Matt Poole, always thereabouts, and a nice day in the office as well for Matt Bevilacqua. But Tannen Linden, definitely the story of the day. He had to finish 5th or better to qualify next year for the Nutri-Grain Series. He's done that with a remarkable final board leg at the expense of the local Newport lad in Max Brooks. And here we go, Peter Tullett presenting his fellow clubmate Kendrick Louis with that great prize money here.
What an amazing win.
It was tough. It wasn't easy. I mean, in the first few rounds, I was racing really well, but I just didn't feel good at all. And I just thought, one race to go, home beach. We've got a good Newport crew here, and probably the best outcome possible for me.
And talk us through the swim.
The swim was a tricky one because there was a couple of us on the first wave, and everyone was on the second wave behind us. So we just, I don't know. I always had in mind jumping in the rip and sucking myself out to the can there, and trying to conserve a bit of energy. I knew the guys across the bank were going to be hurting come that last board leg, and yeah, it paid off.
And what a close finish on the board.
Yeah, it's always a close finish when you got Shannon with you, and you know, his game's always to take the inside and hold you off and then burn you on the last can, and I tried to do that to him today, and we come down the same wave, and I just, you know, for a couple of seconds I looked up, I saw the club, I saw everyone here involved, and I just thought, I've done this plenty of times at training, and it just means so much to actually do it on your home beach. And with the support that I've been given, and you know, the support that Newport's shown Summer of Surf, I just think it's probably the best way to give back to them, and yeah, it was great.
And how are you feeling for the final of the Summer of Surf?
I'm excited. I love the Summer of Surf. It's such a great concept. It's one of those things where it's not just a one-off carnival. It's something that's been thought out, you know, for a long time, and they're really actually trying to push the boundaries and step it up and up. So, you know, it's such amazing. I take my hat off to the whole film crew, yourself and Joshy and Kurt, the commentators, and yeah, I'm just excited to be a part of it, to be honest.
Oh, nice to get a wrap from Kendrick Louis there, but we take a look at the overall point score, and this is qualifying now for our grand final next week. Matt Poole in pole position from Mooloolaba, 199 points. Then Kendrick Louis, Hayden White, Matt Bevilacqua, they're all in there. Dane Farrell also from Allura, Jacko Maynard, Luke Cuff, Tannen Linden. What a day it's been for him. Max Brooks, well, the polar opposite, unfortunately. We'll talk about that in a second when we take a look at the Surf Ironman qualifying series. But all these guys, the top 16 will race in the grand final of the Summer of Surf next week. And here we go, the Surf Ironman qualifying series. And we take a look at this first page. All these lads are either already in the series or they've qualified through this year, apart from Max Brooks. So we'll welcome the new boys in. Hayden White, Dane Farrell, Jacko Maynard and Tannen Linden are your four that have gone through the SIQS. Then we go down to Max Brooks and Luke Cuff. They're equal on points, but Brooks has it over Cuff because on the countback he won round 2. So he's in the box seat now. Only if someone outside the series wins the national title will he miss out.